Hello, and welcome to this week's weekly reading. It is a big one as we have the Virgo total lunar eclipse on Friday, and the day after that, Mercury stations retrograde. So we are already in the Mercury shadow. We are currently in Venus retrograde. So we're in pre-shadow for Mercury. We're in post-shadow for Mars. We're in Venus retrograde. We're in eclipse season. This is a doozy week. And I really love the cards for us, which we'll jump into in a second. I also have brought in a spritz with wild orange and frankincense. I'm really all about a spritz right now, that quick little water and essential oil diffusing spritz all over my energy field, really, when I'm feeling all number of things. I have a few of them on the go at the moment. Another one that I am loving is peppermint and lemon. Okay, so as you also may remember, if you've been watching me for a while, I like to bring dragons in when it's time for eclipse season. Snakes are sometimes known as small dragons, and it's the year of the snake, so he's come in to join us too. This is not a personalized reading, it's a collective reading, but please remember to pick a number between 1 and 4 to get a slightly more personalized slant. And if you're looking to do a personal reading, please do get in touch. Also, if you want more information on that eclipse, there is a forecast on YouTube, which I will drop below this video that will tell you more about the Virgo eclipse. And I will be shortly recording the following eclipse, which happens 2 weeks later. Okay, let's jump in. Pick a card. Here we go. There's our dragon. I just want to point out here that we have basically got just pentacles and one water. Pentacles represents earth, one water card, which is the queen, and the two elements that weren't represented in the rest of the reading, air and fire, get represented in our dragon, which for me is really beautiful because it is bringing in a level of balance in a tumultuous and turbulent week. So the suit of pentacles is very indicative of the physical, and the material. So it's material wealth comes into play a lot, and then our physical bodies comes into play a lot. I do feel like you want to watch for health issues. Let me just explain in a nutshell. Virgo is an earth sign, and this is the eclipse that we're having. Virgo is an earth sign. It's a sign of discernment. The inner critic can get really, really loud. It's very analytical, to the point of analysis paralysis, to the point of being completely procrastinating because they just can't figure out. If you have strong Virgo, I have some strong Virgo placements, so I'm really already feeling this. Trying so hard to do things perfectly that you just end up procrastinating and not doing it at all. So my favorite affirmation for Virgo time is progress, not perfection, because it's very hard for that Virgo part of you to let go of the idea of perfection. And they can be very nitpicky and pedantic, okay? So this card, the first card, the Eight of Pentacles, let's turn it around, is one of my favorite cards in its upright form. Upside down, it's saying maybe you're feeling a little despondent. Maybe you want to give up. Maybe you have burnout. Maybe you've been pushing so hard that your physical health is not okay. There's a few cards in this reading that are showing me that we might get to the place we need to get to make the changes we need to make because of burnout or because of financial loss. Those are the two big topics, I would say, through this card reading and understanding the energy in the sky that I am seeing most strongly. And it's that sense that sometimes the hardest things for us to accept or let go of in order to make the changes that are the most healthy and necessary for us, because we're so resistant to it, we need to experience something that pushes us so hard that we have almost got no choice. It's like bend or break. And when we're not listening, we get a little bit broken and we get to choose, okay, are you going to do the repair and make the change, or are you going to keep flogging a dead horse? I hate that saying, but yes. So with the Eight of Pentacles, you've been working hard, you've been developing your mastery, you've been really trying, but upside down, it's now like, it doesn't matter how hard I work at this, I'm getting nowhere slowly. And it's doing more harm than good. And so something's got to give. And then we get to the Five of Pentacles, which for me is very Virgoic in that way, because it is absolutely like just despondent. It's like, how is it that I can't get there? And I often say this of 5 cards. 5 is right in between. it's the bang in the middle if we're counting from 1 to 10. It's bang in the middle. It's that point of the journey where you just don't know what to do because you can't go back. You've come too far. You can't go forward. Well, you can't see the destination if you look forward. So you just start to feel tired and flat and uncertain. How do I get where I'm going? And really, this feeling that I'm getting, because we've got 2 upside down pentacles that are usually quite positive cards, and the 1-5 is more of a challenging card, is upright. So the Pentacles journey this week is challenging. So is there a health issue? Is there a financial loss? Did you bet on the wrong horse, so to speak? Did you bet on somebody else and not back yourself? That very well may be also a part of the narrative for you. But if she can get over this pity party, which she's allowed to have these moments of feeling just completely depleted and exhausted and frustrated and burnt out, but if she can just change her perspective, the key is already with her. She already holds the key and she can get through the door as soon as she's ready. A lot of this is about perspective. And if I come back to that sense of progress, not perfection, if you're so focused on the how you think something should look, the exact way that your conditioning has taught you, like that hierarchy of we finish school, we start at the grassroots of a job, we work our way up and changing careers, that used to be not an option. It's much more commonplace now, but you got stuck in a job, that's where you were for the rest of your life. It didn't matter how miserable you were. And if you had that perspective that, oh, well, this was what you chose. This is what it takes to put food on the table. There's no getting around it. Misery is just, part of it. Then you will never see the key. You will never realize that there is another way. And I have to say, especially with our dragon, there is a lot of blasting into what brings passion and creativity, what ignites and excites you. Because if we are just stuck in this flat burnout, monotony, and just misery, we are never going to get anywhere. So the Queen of Cups is such a fabulous card about our intuition. And this is very much about what we know without knowing, what we feel without understanding where it comes from, what we sort of see in our imaginal realms that we can't have in a Pentacles way, in a tangible way. And obviously the Pentacles part of us, who's very earthy and really wants to be able to see, taste, touch, feel, smell in a much more 5 sensory literal way, finds it hard to accept this knowing without knowing. And creativity, any kind of creativity, coloring in, doodling, playing with clay, just playing with children, building a fort. I mean, there are so many ways to be creative. It doesn't have to be painting a portrait, but that's also a creative thing. And it doesn't have to be about the result. And I feel like that's really, really important for us right now. The result of your creativity is not necessarily something you're putting in an art museum. It's about shifting our perspective, breaking out of the conformity and the rules and the regulations we've shoved ourselves into, so that we can open our minds a little bit to see, well, what if? And then you can place anything after your what if question. What if the world didn't have to be so miserable for me? What if I didn't have to be so stuck in my job? What if there was a better relationship out there for me? What if? Keep asking yourself. That just opens you to this level of curiosity, which Virgo, when it gets over itself, is pretty good at. And Virgo is a very creative sign when it stops trying to be so perfect and just enjoys being creative. And so I feel like the Queen of Cups is really here to help you to tap into your intuition in spite of all the heavy pentacles stuff that's telling you you should all the time. Those pentacles, especially with the ones that we've gotten either upside down or the right way up this week, they're really shoulding you. You should this, you should that. And don't should yourself. Don't. Let yourself loosen up a little, which is the opposite side of Virgo, and that is Pisces, and we are in Pisces season. And this is the 10 of Pentacles, which is usually such a brilliant and solidifying, materializing, creating that happy future and family that you've always wanted. And upside down again, like, what is the financial loss that you've experienced? Where are the cracks in the foundation of what you thought you wanted? And do you really remember Venus? She's about values and money, and she's retrograde. It's like, do you really, there's that aspect about being grateful for what you have, but sometimes we turn around and look at what we have that we've worked so hard to create, and then we have to ask ourselves, why did I think that that's what I wanted? Why did I think that that's what I had to create to be happy? Was that my choice, or was that a societal choice? And I think these are the big and very uncomfortable questions we have to start asking ourselves. I've gotten into this career because actually that's what my parents valued, because actually that's what their parents valued. And I appreciate that they thought that this would be my security. Pentacles, think security, financial security and stability. Venus, think around that too. I appreciate that my parents might have thought that this would be the most secure route for me. However, I'm miserable, and that's never okay. Same thing with any context. You can take that same kind of symbolism into any subject or context in your life. Okay, and then we drew this little dragon guy, air and fire dragon. Expands your creative energies. Sorry, just let me get that to focus. Harness your creativity and excitement and enthusiasm. Communicate your passion. And we've got all the outside planets moving into fire or air this year. And this month, in fact, Neptune will begin to move into Aries, so from water to fire. And later we will have Uranus moving from Earth to air into Gemini. And we will have Saturn also moving. And we already had Pluto move from Earth to air last year. So think about the two masculine elements, which are air and fire, and when they come together. If there are sparks in the air and the wind picks up, then we have a forest fire. We have a wildfire. And I mean, we have had a few of these in recent years in various different places. We've had a few in South Africa. Australia's had fires. The US has very recently had some really big fires. There's been a lot of these around the world. And it is such a devastation, but also such a cleansing of the land and the creativity that comes underneath that. That's the new growth, and also the community, because people can be just so awful to people. But in a crisis, you see the best of people. You see people coming together and supporting people they've never noticed, donating towards causes, Hawaii had big fires as well. It's a beautiful thing to watch the aftermath, even through the devastation and loss. And I feel like that's a big part of this message for us, is to look at, why is it that the best in humanity comes out through the worst? Why can't we just be the best versions of ourselves without some kind of devastating natural disaster? And you can't change every single human in the world, but you can change you. You can choose how you respond to life. You can choose to be kinder in every moment. You can choose to be thoughtful, and not without your own personal boundaries, not to your own detriment. But what if you were the best version of you to the best ability without being perfect every single day? What if? Have a wonderful eclipse. I will see you on the other side. And thank you for watching. Please like, share, follow, and subscribe. And I will be back next week.